back Bolt with the Bolt Report.
Time for the panel. Herald Sun gun columnist Rita Panahi and Bruce Hawker, former Labor campaign guru. Bruce, I just got to stay on this Max Walker thing for a moment. I mean, that's just a part of Australia, really. I just wonder whether, you know, Australian cricket, is it ever going to produce a guy now that is so universally loved as Max Walker was?
Well, I hope they do, but you wonder, don't you? Because the characters seem to get stripped out of sport largely these days. I mean, I think that's in part because they're so closely scripted and managed, and there's some reason for that, I guess, because when they don't get looked after and controlled properly, they often do silly things. But you know, he was one of the great personalities of cricket. You watched the cricket not just to see great bowling and batting from him, but you know, all the interactions with the other players, and you know, including the opposition and the crowd. Remember, he used to do all these, you know, his antics on the field. It was just fantastic. And tangles and that crazy run-up of his. I just hope we do see some more, because you know, he was part of a generation of real characters. He wasn't just him. There were a lot of them came through around that time. And you know, I guess it coincided with World Series cricket. You know, they encouraged a lot of that sort of stuff. So he'll be missed.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, absolutely. What a gentleman he was. But the thing is, Rita, you know, I wonder whether today's sportsmen can really survive. He didn't have the scrutiny through social media and all that, and that blokey humour. Yeah. He wasn't Sam Newman, and I love Sam Newman, but you know, he didn't push the envelope out that far. I wonder whether a new Max Walker could be as universally embraced again in this punitive culture we have.
Well, probably not universally, but I think he would be still embraced by the overwhelming majority. He was a larrikin, he was lovable, and he was just so generous and kind. I remember speaking to him after Richie Benaud passed away, and he recounted the stories about how when he first joined the Nine commentary team, Richie wasn't too impressed with his with his form and gave him some firm words of advice, which was hilarious. You know, he could tell us, it was just a magnificent storyteller. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think people are just shocked because we didn't know he was ill. This has taken a lot of people by surprise.
Took me by surprise. Now, Bruce, to our top story, back to our top story. What has your side, Labor, done to South Australia?
Well,
did you like that question?
Privatised electricity is obviously the problem here, isn't it, Andrew? Look, I think it's only a matter of minutes before they blame Mike Rann, who hasn't been Premier in South Australia for 5 years, for all the problems. Apparently they blamed him recently for having an overdependence on renewable energy. So I dare say there'll be some buck passing going on around the place, but yeah, it might just be that this is what happens in this day and age. We have these terrible storms coming through.
How can you pass the buck? Mate, how can you talk about passing the buck when Labor's been dominating state politics in South Australia for so long? Who else would you pass the buck to? I mean, for heaven's sake, come on. Go through this.
Look, I think it's God's fault.
God hates South Australia.
God hates South Australia.
Well, who could blame him?
So read it. So South Australia under Labor has got the highest power prices in the country,
enormous,
right?
Because
and
of their
the least reliable power in the country.
Why would that be, do you think? Could it be their reliance on renewables? Could that have anything to do with it?
It could be because it's privatised.
You know, the state.
Could be because it's privatised.
For heaven's sake, Bruce.
Yeah, and there's a profit motive going on there, and maybe they're cutting in certain areas. Maybe they're cutting back in critical areas.
Is a basket case.
Look, Bruce, I said an ex-Labor campaign director. You're not there now. You can relax.
No. Well, I just think you've got to be realistic.
It's mainland Tasmania is what it is. It is a basket case that is costing the rest of us an enormous amount of money. And, you know, we can say what we like about them because they can't see this, so the whole state's
Well, South Australian jokes now.
But what an absolute, they are a drain on the nation. They really are. They need to get their act together. We've got to start being a little bit more calculating with how we disperse the Commonwealth funds.
I agree, and we fund it. But Bruce, this is the green dream, isn't it? Back to the caves with kerosene and candles, warming themselves by a toasty little campfire of logs dragged in from the...
With traffic lights,
I know,
with hospitals.
Who drives cars? You're not allowed to drive cars.
Of course, you can't have cars.
Bruce, this is the green dream, isn't it?
Look, I think the hospitals will be fine, by the way. They should all have generators, and hopefully that'll be looking after people. But, we could be flippant about that, but, there are people tonight who are going to be doing it really tough in South Australia, and, and they have to be...
They can't watch you, Bruce, so you can say what you like.
Oh, no, they'll be
we
watching.
Don't need to do the ersatz pity now.
Well. Look,
right, so that was peddling,
but it is expensive electricity down there, and there are some reasons for that, including the fact that it was sold off to the highest bidder. So you've got to be very cautious about those.
Privatisation.
A dead possum of privatisation dragged across the desk. You hope he will take the lure.
You want high prices?
South Australian businesses are moving to Victoria for more reliable and cheaper energy costs.
Rita, I once had great advice.
Privatised in Victoria.
Exactly right. I once had great... Stephen Marshall, the opposition, the Liberal leader there, once asked me for a tip on how to get noticed. This is before the last election. And I said, this is what you do. Why don't you get a stick of dynamite, find a wind tower, blow it up, and do a YouTube video saying South Australia open for business, cheaper power prices under the Liberals. He wouldn't do it.
Oh, no, they're terrified.
He'd look like a hero if he'd taken my advice.
The whole place is a basket case. We need to just cut them adrift, let them see how bad it is without our largesse supporting them. And perhaps then they'll come to their senses and start voting in some politicians who are not complete clowns.
Absolutely. Now, Bruce...
a couple of Victorians.
I'm going to give you a dolly, Bruce.
Dirty electricity, dirty coal, polluting the environment, making a mess of things.
Who would have thought...
Oh, you Victorians,
who would have thought that Bruce Hawker, frequent flyer, is actually a green? Who would have thought that?
I would love to have your carbon footprint. That is my career goal, to be able to have as many frequent flyer miles as you have.
Oh, you don't
Bruce,
know
I'm
that,
going to make it easy for you now. I'm going to make it easy for you, Bruce. After having to defend this hopeless carcass of green power under Labor, the government, 48% to 52%. Look, it's 2.5 years until an election, if all things go right. Should it be worried?
Yeah, well, I think the Prime Minister should be worried, that's for sure, because this is all happening on his watch, and, he can be thanking his lucky stars that the election wasn't held last week, because he would have lost the election that they, thought they never could possibly lose under his watch. He's now less popular than Tony Abbott was when he was Prime Minister. So, all these things are bad indicators for Malcolm Turnbull. You can't put a spin on this one. He's going to just have to accept that, the public is sort of onto him now. He says a lot of stuff and then does very little, and the electorate seeing that themselves, and they're saying, well, we don't think you're up for it. We don't think you're the real deal. And the electorate's got a real good nose for that.
Bruce, you know what the problem is too? The problem too is that he doesn't have people in the media that will defend him anymore, because he doesn't have the... Do you notice that neither you nor I, Conservatives, interrupted Bruce in that diatribe?
No. In fact, I'm finding it hard to find a point to disagree with him. I think he should be worried, and I think the entire government should be worried. No newly elected government has fallen this quickly. The Gillard government, as dysfunctional as they were and having that alliance with the Greens, was still more popular at this stage than the Turnbull government has been. That dive is significant. And his personal approval rating is also a cause for concern. He's not the golden child anymore. He's been found out. You know what? Underneath that style, there's not a great deal of substance.
And the problem is that it hasn't happened in the context of taking the really tough decisions to set the government up for reaping the benefits later, because actually not much has happened at all. But listen, I've got to go, unfortunately. Because
he was trying to fix the budget or do something great for the country, it would be different.
Not true. Yeah. Well, before the lights go out, I've got to say goodbye to Bruce Hawker and Rita Panahi. Bruce, back on your bike and not your car.
Well, I'm in sunny Sydney, where life just continues to go really well and the lights are still on here.
Good on you, mate. Hang on, because Peter Beattie and Peter Reith are